Chainsaw Man!
Bruh.
Okay, there
gets
is a
heavy.
lot to fucking talk about. This one is a heavy boy.
So, this is a really good chapter that like delves into like PTSD. Like one of the more realistic portrayals of PTSD I've seen in manga.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you start, David? I know you got a lot to say about this one.
Yeah, so let's start with the sacrifices that were made here because we know we do have some casualties here. We know that
Oh my
Aki
god, yeah,
still
deaths. We do need to talk about that, bro. Okay, thank you for reminding me. So, fucking legit, Violence Devil and Shark, as in Bean, or Beam, I always do that. They're dead. That's crazy. I did not expect that. And I should have, because people die in this series all the time.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're a random background character number 55 or if it's a main character here. But what's really interesting is Aki is missing an arm and Angel Boy is missing both. Mm-hmm. Still.
I'm curious. They don't really explain how. Like, it's weird to me that it's almost like the author's like, fuck, I can't have Aki missing both arms. So somehow he got one of his arms back. I don't know how. Logic to me would dictate that if both of them were cut off in the exact same mysterious voodoo type way, they would both be equally unable to be reattached. But okay.
Maybe Future Devil somehow prevented it.
Shit, I hate to break this to you, kid. Your future death that I was predicting actually heavily involves your arm, so I'm gonna have to hack and give you back your arm.
Yeah, just like you're also going to get fucked by your other arm.
Well,
just
what's
so you
gonna
know.
happen is you're gonna end up fucking reaching a little too deep into the fucking garbage disposal and get sucked in. So you gotta have your arm.
That is a legitimate concern sometimes.
Just watch a bunch of those fucking. What's the movie where death is chasing them?
A Final Destination?
Yeah. Just choose your Final Destination death. Which one will be for Aki?
The car, the log going through the car windshield and smashing the skull. That one still to this day, ever since that scene, fucks with me.
Well, like, the reason I brought up I'm pretty sure there is a death in that movie that involves, like, a garbage disposal, but, like, it makes you think it's going to be a garbage. Yeah.
I think it was 3. It's pretty bad that I know my Final Destinations, but I love my goddamn Cheese Fest, okay? Shut up.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
I am super stoked for Scream.
So yeah, Violence Devil too. So I know you were a big fan of Beam. I mean, do you have some words for him?
Pour one out for my boy.
He's actually dead, bro. Like we were talking. It just happened.
I'm pouring a rain onto my goddamn carpet because nothing can fuck this carpet worse than it's already been fucked, literally.
Chocolate rain. Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Okay.
God, that song just hits different right now.
Everything hits different right now. Literally, and by the way, that's my new favorite phrase. My buddy Justin was like, "Hey, bro, you want to go to this second protest? Because we went to the first Black Lives Matter protest last Saturday in our city, but now the National Guard's here." And I responded to him, "Nah, bro, the National Guard be hitting different. The National Guard be hitting way different than the police, bro."
Ouch! 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 Ouch!
Listen, we got to use our free speech while we still can, okay? The fascist totalitarian state is coming. Everyone prep yourself.
So who wants to just get all cyberpunky with me?
Yeah. Anyway, we should talk about Power.
Okay.
I love her fucking fear of the Darkness Devil. It actually reminds me when Santa Claus was dying, she was talking about how, think about the power of the darkness. I have all these dolls everywhere, and I can be anywhere, and the Darkness Devil can be anywhere that's dark. You should be scared of anyone, anywhere, all the time, any corner. I could be there, right? And whereas Denji didn't really take that warning to heart, Power seems to have, and it's just think about, I don't know, like obviously you have things like kids will be afraid of the dark, but this is different. Whereas, when kids are afraid of the dark, it's more of like the fear of the unknown. You're afraid of the dark because you don't know what's in the dark. You can't see. It's just a lack of it. It's a fear based on a lack of information. Whereas Power's fear of the dark right here, it's more of a fear of like, she knows exactly what's going to happen, and it's going to be, it'll drag me down to hell, and then I'll be in hell, which is the scariest thing, right? So she has experienced the Darkness Devil before, and I imagine it was like one of the most traumatic things you could go through. We saw it, but I can imagine just us seeing it through manga form is nothing compared to like actually being there first person, you know?
Yeah. It's really like this whole chapter was so wholesome and so fucked at the same time, and that's
It was a different kind of wholesome, you know? Like, it wasn't wholesome in like a Spy X Family kind of way. It was wholesome in like a here's a son taking care. It was wholesome in like in the movie Joker when he's taking care of his like disabled mom, you know? It reminds me a lot of like someone taking care of like someone that can't take care of themselves, you know? And like Power has kind of been reduced to the mental state of like a child at this point.
Yeah.
And I love what this author does with like combining like he has to take care of Power like a child, but he's also Power is clearly coming on to him in a sexual manner, right? And like Denji is going through this thing like, okay, why is it that when I do naughty stuff with Power, as he puts it, I don't feel anything, right? And this resonates with me a lot because like, you know, I've known people in the past that I maybe had feelings for, but then once I got to know them a bit too much, and Denji even says that, like I learned too much about Power, right? Sometimes that little bit of mystery is enticing in a relationship. So once I knew too much, which was that, oh, she's actually got this mental state of a child, and like, you know, she can't do this herself, it really, you're not going to be as attracted to that person, you know, because it really changes the way you look at them. And now it's clear that it's such a complex thing because it's not just like, you know, side A or side B. It's a very gray zone thing because Denji clearly really cares about her enough to say no to going on the trip with Makima, you know, which is a huge character growth for him, you know, for him to be like, no, Power really needs me. And he was even like, why did I say no? That's crazy. And you even see Power feeling guilty about this. Like, don't hate me, don't hate me. She feels guilty about having to be so coddled. It's just there's so much going on here, but I'll let you do some talking here.
Yeah, so you've got it pretty much spot on there. It's like it's almost as if she's been reduced to this childlike mentality. She's always been a little aloof, not all completely there, and that's possibly from taking over this other person's body. We don't really know too much, but it also comes down to like this fear has enacted a huge traumatic experience on her, seeing something that she's truly afraid of. She went from this badass, like, I'll fucking kill everything.
Run you over with a car, number 7 in the popularity poll, by the way.
Yeah, like running over with the car, just going full fucking throttle, and then now she's this.
Don't forget the confidence, too. When she did that, she was like, 'tis me, I did that, I've saved the day. Yeah.
And gone. And it's really something that's real. This is real normal in a way. It's fucked, but this is what can happen.
Too, like, she won't even she doesn't even want to leave him. She wants to like constantly be connected to him, right? And I've seen some people like misread this as like a peer, you know, people that aren't reading as deeply into it as they should be. Like, people are reading it as like, oh, well, it's just more shipping stuff. No, it's not just that. Like, she's genuinely terrified to be alone, like, in any regard. And like, you see that it's just he draws it in such a way that makes it uncomfortable. Like, even when they're at the table, she's like wrapped around him. You know, like, she's leg locking him even when she's like, he's just looking into her mouth. Like, nothing sexual is happening, but she's like constantly clinging to him. And it's really, she's feeling a lot more like, I'm trying to figure out how to put this, like a child with like special needs, you know, like, it's really, really sad how it's portrayed here. And it's almost a little too real in a good way because it makes you feel uncomfortable. I was talking to some people on Twitter that were talking about how this chapter made them feel uncomfortable. And I think that is the strength of this chapter. It makes you feel uncomfortable because it makes you feel uncomfortable in the same way that you'd feel uncomfortable, like, if you had to take care of like your mom that came down with dementia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's why it makes you feel uncomfortable, because it's someone who is severely mentally fucked. And what do people do when they're mentally fucked? They try their best. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice, by the way. So I don't know if I got the Rona or it's just allergies, but forgive me. But like, with Power here, I can just see, I don't know, like she, I'm fucking. Oh my god. So there's a scene where she's desperately trying to make up to him, like, you're gonna be mad at me, drink my blood, right? And I also relate to that. And as someone who does have a lot of mental things, I got OCD, ADD, potentially on some spectrum. I don't know. I've been told a million different things, but I'm not entirely normal. Something I used to do when I was a little kid was, like, if I felt like I had wronged someone or made someone angry, I would, like, hit myself. I would, like, start slapping myself. Like, there, are we even now? Because, like, I couldn't take it in my head if I didn't feel like I was even with someone. Like, if I didn't make it up to them. So, like, I don't know, just, like, the way that power is portrayed in this, it's not like a lot of manga where, like, it's slow, it builds up. There's a lot of subtle things, whereas I don't know, it's just great. I'm going to let you go because I'm just rambling.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much, there's a lot to analyze here, and I understand why you're rambling, but like I see it a little bit more like you said, like it's somebody with dementia, but I don't think it's so much that. I think it's
Well, no, I'm not saying she has that. I'm just saying it reminds me of, like,
I know. It reminds you of like that need to take care of. I think it's more along the lines of like her feral instincts have kind of fully taken over to that almost infant style of animal here, where like they're so codependent that they cling to the mother to feed them, to bathe them, to do all the things. And because she has that like that feral instinct that you've seen throughout the series, that animal side is kind of pushed forward to the level of codependence that we would see in, like we've said, like a special needs here. Because she's now an adult, she shouldn't need to have this kind of behavior displayed.
And I understand why Denji wouldn't feel like attraction, because, like, that is not, like, I think you and I would both agree that, like, something, at least for me, that's required to feel sexually attracted to someone is for them to have a bit of, like, independence, other autonomy, I guess, like the ability to take care of yourself, right? Because otherwise it does become a little weird, where, like, I think Denji looks at Power as more of like a little sister figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And considering, like, especially at the end of the chapter here, I understand that they're not actually, like, having sex, but it, like, really, not only does it look like they are, but, like, I imagine in, you know, a lot of vampire type fiction I've seen is like that, like, sucking blood is a very intimate thing that you can do, and that's the vibe I'm getting here. Are you getting that same vibe?
I got a little bit of that vibe too, and it's like, this isn't it. But
right, but like, not in the sense that, like, I don't think the manga did anything wrong. I think he's trying to make you feel uncomfortable, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely that he's trying to make you feel uncomfortable, because there's so much imagery here. Like the level of codependence we're seeing alone is just startling, and that's something that really,
it's toxic as fuck. This is a very toxic relationship if it was to continue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
I don't picture it continuing like this. I picture her getting her independence back, or maybe some sort of like build up of like Denji has to help her recover her strength and her independence. That could be the next little bit of the series.
And I think that Denji too thinks, like, because I think some people have this, I don't know, like, there are people out there that have this, like, fetish, or like I don't know, dream, or like some people are into that whole, like, ooh, I'll take care of them, you know, and like you know, that is like kind of a kink, you know, like I want to be the parent in that relationship. I'm sure that is a thing, right?
It is.
And what I've found is that, like, while that is cute in, like, fiction, or, like, you know, thinking about it for a couple seconds, when taken to its logical conclusion, which is what this author is doing here, you find out that it's really not at all. Like, it just doesn't feel right. It feels very weird. And I can speak from some personal experience here. You know, I've had relationships in the past, one of which was a little bit like that, you know, where this person came from a very damaging household that kind of fucked her up mentally. And I went in with the mistake of, like, thinking that I could just, like, you know, help her and fix her and help her become more mature. And, like, it was just a drag down, you know, because I remember one of the things I told her a lot was, I feel a lot more like your parent than your boyfriend, you know? Mm-hmm. And that is, I think that's what Denji's realizing here. And I love that he's calling back to, like, you know, Makima always told me that these kind of things feel better the more you know your partner, but I know Power probably more than anyone. And so that clearly that doesn't work, right? So he's realizing that Makima's advice wasn't linear. It's not like a scale. Like, more you know person, more it'll feel better. You know what I mean? Like for example, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, you might know your enemy really well, unless you're into hate fucks, of course. I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, here's a good example. You probably know your mom really well. But just because you know her amazing, it doesn't mean you're going to enjoy fucking her. And if you do, you might want to get checked out mentally. But, like...
part of a hentai.
That's what I get here from this. I think that Denji looks at her a lot more like either a family member or, like, even, unfortunately, with the way she's acting, and this will be a little uncomfortable to say, but, like, this is the vibe I get. I think he may see her as a child mentally at the moment. You know? And no one wants to fuck someone with the mental capacity of a child. Like, that is uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And that's the vibe I got from this chapter. I think that Denji's like, no, I don't want to be in this scenario with you because it makes me feel weird.
Yeah, it does strike him as weird. And, you know, Denji being like the ultimate pervert next to Issei from High School DxD, like, damn, for him to just be like, no, I don't want this, is actually amazing character growth for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see Denji going through, like, this growth when it comes to indulging in, like, pleasures. Like, when we first kind of met him, he was doing the thing, like, putting all the toppings on his toast, because he had so little in terms of, like, pleasures that he was like, I want to have them all, right? So, like, you can kind of see, like, this arc where he's just said yes blindly to all of that stuff. A random girl that he barely knows, and, you know, like, would be like, hey, you want to kiss? And he'll be like, fuck yeah, just because I want to experience it, right? He wouldn't just go into a relationship to, like, have it be a relationship. It wasn't like, oh, I'm seeking out love here. I've just been told that feeling a boob is awesome, or kissing is awesome. And then it was up to Makima to be like, there's more to it than just that, right? And I almost see, like, the end of that little arc for Denji right here, where, like, with power here, he's just kind of blindly saying yes to everything because, again, in his mind, he sees it as like, this should be good, right? It's like, I remember, you know, as a kid, like, when you're a little dumb like I was as a kid, you think of things like, well, something that's good in a small amount, surely it would be good all the time, right? So, like, you know, you get this mentality like, candy tastes good, why not eat all the candy? Oh, that was delicious when I had one burger. Why not 3 burgers, you know? So I developed a problem with binge eating as a child because my mind was like, good thing, have all of the good thing. Why not have as much as the good thing as you can? And that's how I always looked at Denji. It seems like, you know, in this scenario, he's almost just going along with it, where she's just like, you know, suck the blood on my shoulder. And he's like, okay. And she's like, oh, you know, well, do this with me. Okay. And, like, yeah, in the beginning, he's doing it just to help her feel uncomfortable, but, like, I think towards the end, you can see he's doing this intimate thing with her, even though in his head, he's like, I don't want to do this, but, like, he's just, I don't know, he's almost like zombieing, like, he's not even, he's doing it even though he doesn't want to do it, and that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it really is.
He's got to break that habit, I guess. You know, there's like, he's just kind of auto-piloting him now because he thinks that it will bring him pleasure. Yeah.
He thinks it will bring him pleasure and also help power at the same time, which is
like how like a drug addiction can become like habitual, you know? Like you can get to a point where like you might not even be thirsty for, like, I have a friend who's kind of addicted to soda, and, like, you know, he'll be like not even thirsty for a soda, but this is around the time I'd have a soda, so let me get one open, right? That's the vibe I get. He's like not even or like people that are addicted to masturbation. Like, you might have a day where you're not even horny, but, well, this is a time to masturbate. You know, like, that's just it's
3 a.m. time to fast.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that he's just going along and doing this with power is interesting to me, and I think because one of the things we've seen with Denji is him struggling to, like, feel something, and, like, wondering about his humanity and his emotions, and, like, you know, how would I feel if this person died? Would I feel anything? Blah blah blah.
Well, he didn't seem to feel anything that his comrades died, which is troubling.
That's interesting. Well, see, there's a lot going on here, because you're right. He didn't feel anything about them dying, at least nothing that we saw. And also, he's, I think, realizing that none of this, like, naughty stuff, at least with power, is feeling like anything. But there is an element of humanity to him, at least in the sense that he was willing to say no to Makima to take care of Power. In fact, the way he responds, I think, is really cool. I actually want to go back and read how he said it. I thought it was really, really wholesome because it was like someone who felt obligated, like, oh, like almost like you owe a debt. Like if it was like your best friend in the hospital, like, oh, I gotta visit my best friend. He's been there for me, and that was, I thought, really mature of him.
Yeah.
He says, because, she's like, oh, the trip of two. Yeah, it's the way he says it. It's so real. He says, Power's in a bad way right now. In a bad way. Like he just, you feel how much he cares there,
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
And then with Makima responding, you could always just drop her off at a public safety facility. That's the equivalent of like, one of your friends being like, fuck your parents, put them in a home, let's go party. Like Makima is truly like, what the fuck?
She's just gone as a human.
Well, yeah, not only is she gone as a human, there's two elements there. You're right. One is that she's definitely gone as a human, like in emotion-wise, all that shit. But two is that she's wants Denji for herself, not in like a love way, but like for whatever the fuck she's using him for,
Absolutely. And well, also you can just be like, she doesn't give a fuck about her comrades at all.
100%. Yeah, and this makes me worry now that if Power starts, because I don't think it's not a good ship. In fact, I think this chapter put the biggest death knell in the Power Denji ship. In fact, I think that this is a really good chapter for separating the boys from the men when it comes to this manga, because some people read this. I've seen literally some people that are like shippers of Power and Denji that are like, woohoo with this one, simply because they were in the same room naked, but they're not reading any of the subtext. Yeah. I literally saw someone that was like, oh my god, my ship. And then someone in the comments was like, did you skip past the part where he literally said he doesn't feel attracted to her?
Right.
So like,
but they naked together and you drink blood like vampire. So that mean they fuck, right?
Yeah. They fucked but felt nothing. That's a healthy ship. But like,
that's the equivalent of just having sex for the night. It's like a hookup. It's just like, I feel nothing, but I want my dick inside.
And I imagine
something.
There's a little guilt too, because I mean, like, Denji is essentially Denji. I mean, I don't know if Denji has like high concept thoughts like this, but like what he is kind of doing,
is
taking advantage of someone in a very fucked up mental state.
It's Denji. I don't think he has a high concept of anything.
Right, but I think like somewhere deep in his mind, he might be like this. I mean, he is. He's like, this feels wrong. Something's weird about this.
Yeah, he understands there's something wrong about it, but how far will he take that concept of like?
Well, I imagine I think this was like the test phase. I don't think he's ever gonna do anything quote unquote naughty with her ever again. Like I think that he's realized that that's not something he's into.
But if Power says you want to have sex, will he just zombie along like he's done this entire chapter?
Right, like just do it. And I wonder, would it go the opposite way, where like she is almost using him, where like she's using him to feel some comfort, and like it goes to that level, and like he would feel bad to say no because she is in a bad place right now. There's a lot we could do there. I also wonder, because Makima had some sort of plan, wanted Denji with her on this trip, and Power is kind of responsible for keeping him away from that trip. Is Makima going to go after Power now in some sort of way?
I can see it.
Can you imagine Makima just fucking out in Power?
I think that would be where Denji's like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah. And the mad laddery of this other.
Or would he be like, well, you put her out of her misery?
Oh my god, that's so dark.
I mean, think about it. This author loves to do dark and fucked up.
It's true. And they're not scared to kill fan favorite characters, which I love.
And Denji's already feeling bad for her.
And Denji clearly doesn't care if his friends die.
And Denji clearly has that like, I don't want to see my friends suffer kind of mentality either. He would rather them die than be prolonged in this kind of state. And he sees how much Power's suffering here.
He could get Angel Devil to turn her into a weapon.
Can Angel Devil transform into a weapon fully now, missing limbs?
That's true.
That's another thing we don't really have answers for. Like, what are the limits of the powers? Because we've
Mhm.
seen that even Denji gets stunned when he's low on fucking blood. Almost like he can't get fully erect.
We also need to talk about, by the way, Konembi fully retiring. Like she's leaving the force, and don't forget, the whole reason she was in the force to begin with was so she wouldn't have to be a prostitute. So there's some dark implications there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Like, there's a whole lot in this fucking chapter, and including the ending there, where like Denji doesn't seem to want to know what's behind the door anymore. Which kind of wraps up one thing that I was saying in the last video.
Does he
Like,
say he
what's
doesn't
behind?
want to know? Hold on, I gotta go back and read that. Hold on a second. I don't need to. Oh shit, you're right. Fuck.
So there's one plot thread.
No,
wrapped
we're definitely gonna find out. That would be ridiculous.
Well, you said firsthand that like Andy's like he doesn't really do answers.
Yeah, I suppose unless if this author is mad ladding to the point where the door is like a metaphor for like secrets in life that you don't need to find out about and you need to be content not knowing about. Could that be the metaphor?
It could be. Who the fuck
That'd be
knows at
wild.
this point?
And some people would be so triggered about that.
Including me.
Did you watch the Rick and Morty finale yet?
I have not. I was gonna watch it after we
There's a
fell.
great metaphor there too, because they do one of those things where they answer like a long time fan question, but they do so in like a way that isn't like fully answering it, but like halfway answering it. And like in the behind the scenes, Dan Harmon was like, it's one of those questions that's better left unanswered, but like half answered, like so you know a little bit, but not everything. You know?
Of course.
No, trust me, it makes sense. It's like it's the same thing that the Ed, and Eddie creators said about what was under Double D's hat.
Right.
It was like nothing that we did would satisfy you, so we had to do like a half answer, because otherwise it's one of those things that's better left to the imagination. You know.
I'm going to guess it has something to do with Evil Morty, right?
I ain't saying shit.
Stay tuned for the stream this weekend. God damn it.
I should have fucking like brushed my teeth before this, because like, or maybe like mouthwash. There's like a canker sore like right on the side of my cheek, and so like every time I talk a little bit and I bite on it, I'm like ah. So if you ever hear me go like, that's what it is. I'm like I'm in pain right now.
Well, let's save it for after the really really heartfelt video. But yeah, so
well, I work tomorrow, so I can't film that one tonight. We'll
okay. We'll film that one tomorrow then. But
I just
anyway,
wanted to give myself an out for if I sounded a bit weird talky wise today, because I'm both losing my voice. There's a riot 5 minutes away from my house. Well, less big riot tonight. The National Guard's here, but
it separates the boys from the men.
Look up Grand Rapids, Michigan protests. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh,
It's a big enough city; they won't be able to find us.
oh yeah. But
also, like we live on the outskirts, so search Grand Rapids all you like, fanboys.
Anyway, so like, I guess
there's still a lot more to talk about. I wanted to mention one of my favorite panels here is let me find it here. Yeah, it's okay. Go to page 16 real quick.
Okay, let me pull the chapter back up.
It's not up. You don't have it up.
I do not. I closed it because I updated my phone because it kept barking at me.
Unprofessional.
I have to have it up to date for work, so shush.
So page 16, the top left panel, when she's saying it's behind me, I can feel it behind me, and like the window is just pure dark.
Yeah.
And like also when she's like it's in my mouth, her mouth is pure dark. You know? Like it's literally, she's quite literally afraid of the entity that is darkness, and everywhere there is darkness, she sees the darkness devil, and she feels its presence.
Does she feel it on her horns?
No, but those are red.
I know they're canonically red. I'm just
saying that, like, I just think that that's cool, because like this chapter did a really good job of like, there was a very eerie tone over this chapter the whole time I was reading it, because every time she mentioned the darkness devil, there was like a panel of darkness, and I was waiting for it to fucking jump out or something horrific to happen. You know what I mean? And it's always watching over them, and it's just, I loved it.
Oh yeah, like they really did this this almost like jump scary feeling rather well.
Oh yeah, it felt a little horror-y because when I didn't know it was gonna happen, I was like, oh fuck.
Absolutely. it's kind of like that early Resident Evil, the zombies around the fucking corner. But once you memorize it, and once you wrote back through it, like, oh, that's there. Okay, cool. But that's something that Power won't get used to right away. She's not going to get used to this like entity always surrounding her because those words will stick with you. And it's quite literally one of the most terrifying things, that fear of the unknown, until you overcome that. And
Well,
that's
also, it's like you can't really kill the Darkness Devil. The darkness will always exist, you know? It's one of the most,
yeah, and
it's everywhere.
why
Like even if you had a
that's why
fully lit room, like it'd be in your shadow, you know?
yep, it's why it's one of those primordial devils. Like it's there always. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. You can't escape like the fire devil. You can't escape shit like that because they're quite literally always around somewhere. From the lighter in my hand right now to the fucking shadow under my desk. These beings are always with us.
Deep. And then let's see. Yeah, I guess after that, I don't know. I loved Power's. Oh yeah, I did want to. Power takes a shower.
Yeah.
Character development.
That one dude in the comments for last week's chapter was like, yeah, I can confirm she does take a shower. I'm like, so what is I was originally thinking like, what does Makima force her to finally take a shower because she stinks so goddamn bad after coming back from hell?
And I think there is, I at least I can read into that a little bit as well, which is that like, you know, people always, it's one of the things that you say when you go through a really traumatic experience, like, oh, I feel like I need to take a shower after that. Like, she's feeling so scared that she's literally breaking one of the main things we know about her, which is that she does not bathe. She's bathing, and I think that's a big, that's pretty big for her, which is sounds funny, but like it is.
Yeah, it's like wash
she even
the darkness
flushed.
Oh god, that's also fucking out of character. But like it was the wash the darkness away kind of moment here.
Oh yeah.
Which again you can't escape it, but it's definitely a big moment for her as a character taking the shower, which means maybe like there's not going to be any plugging the nose. There's not going to be any bullshit of like, okay, Power, we need to throw like 5 buckets of water on you before we get in the car.
It's so funny too, because like I hadn't sent it to you, but I just saw fan art last week. Because before this chapter came out, it was like around the time the last chapter came out, and it's like a fan art of Denji and Power like about to fuck, and like it's totally ruined by this chapter. Like literally, it's one of those things. This chapter is such a big deal that this fan art last week when I saw it, I was like, yeah, you know, they're about to fuck, and this is funny, and I'm into it because I like this ship. And now after this chapter, it's like totally different. It's like, ugh, no, please don't. You know, here I'm gonna send you that fan art real quick. Let me see if I can find it here, because it's really funny because it's basically Denji like going through a checklist, like, okay, are your teeth brushed? And she's like, yes. And he's like, and you've showered? Yes. And then they jump on each other. Here, so this came out last week, right before this chapter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, bath, took one. Teeth, brushed them. Toilet, used it. Okay, and then they jump on each other to fuck, right? And that was last week. I was like, oh, it's really funny, and now it's like, nah, no,
no, preserve, protect. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up this chapter, right?
I did want to talk about it. We would be remiss to not talk about the popularity polls.
Okay. Let me go back to that.
Because we have the Japanese results and the American results. I don't know if you saw the American results on Twitter.
No, I did not.
Oh boy. Okay, so go to the Japanese results, and what do you think about that?
Power.
The first thing that I love, that I have to say, the fact that Denji is number 5 in his own series is hilarious to me. Almost every series I've ever seen a popularity poll in, the main character is number 1, just by virtue of being the main character. Like, it happened with Ichigo for a long time. It still happens with Luffy. The fact that Denji's number 5 is so funny to me.
The fact that Pochita, who doesn't really exist anymore...
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's based on cuteness and merchandising alone. Like we need a fucking plushie of that thing right now, and I want to be able to pull the thing and make it rev.
You do realize that almost every single one of them is going to be modified to play Rip and Tear, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I'd like mine to be modified to be an actual chainsaw.
You do realize how fucking heavy that plushie is going to be, right?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Electric chainsaw. It'll be the quietest chainsaw.
I'm just done with you.
Okay, so power number 1, which is why it would make it even bigger of a deal if this author did decide to have like Makima kill power. Especially considering Makima's second, it'd be like a meta thing too. Makima's like, bitch, you gonna fucking be first when I'm second? Are you fucking kidding me? Third, Aki, which fascinates me because he's boring in IMHO. He's fine, but he is really the solid base of the. He's like Katara, you know what I mean? Like I was having a conversation with Catherine, best friend's girlfriend, about Katara in Avatar: Last Airbender, and I thought she was really boring. And like the argument is, well, she's kind of like the glue of the group, and she holds them together. But you have to have the normal baseline character in every series, so that every other character can jump off of their normalness to be wacky. And that's what Aki is, and it's like, okay, someone's got to like him, I guess. Let's see. Third, we have where's third? Fourth. Where's fourth at? Okay, Rize. I'm so happy Rize's up there, and I'm glad that that's like a thing that we all can agree on, because I still think she's probably one of my favorite characters in the series, like at least one, if not two. I'm not too, like, she's up there. It'd be Rize and Makima in the top 3 at least. I haven't really sat down and thought about my full top list, but I love Rize so much.
Kobeni's car.
Yeah. This is purely because of that chapter where Power got in the car and fucking ended shit.
I love that a fucking car that is completely fucking totaled is on the popularity poll.
How about the fact that her car fucking did better than her?
I feel so bad for her.
She's like looking back there like, why is my car here? Why is my fucked up totaled car here? Well, anyway, off to go be a prostitute.
Oh.
Literally, bro, it's so dark. Her car's fucking destroyed, so she doesn't even have that to sell. Like, she's starting from nothing. Like, because I don't know. Unless the public devil hunters give severance pay. But no, she quit, so probably not.
How about trauma pay or hazard pay? Do they pay either of those?
Also,
one of those is too real.
Oh my god. Poor Konembi. Best. Now, number 10, remind me who that is. That the fucking octopus guy?
I believe so, yes.
How? I mean, okay. Just purely based on the fucking... Yo, bro, I got some quadratic equations to do, man. I don't got time for this shit. That one
Get your fucking math out of my video.
Yeah, and then 11. Puke Girl got 11.
Respect. The meme.
No one will forget the puke. That's gonna be a moment, bro. They better not censor any of that puke in the anime.
Ugh. The fact that somebody's going to have to fucking voice act that, the fact that somebody's going to have to dub that.
I want to be able to tell exactly what she ate.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Detail. The more detail. Listen, this is a conversation I had, a very short conversation I had with Steelachus Ramachus. And I was basically like, bruh, like, I want to feel uncomfortable in fiction, okay? I'm a fucking masochist sadist. Which one's the one where I want to feel the pain?
I would be masochist.
I'm a masochist, bro. Like, for fiction, absolutely. Like, I love being shocked and fucked up. I just fucking fist me with your author fist. Give it to me, okay? That's why. So one of the main reasons I like Made in Abyss, okay? You got great world building, you got great creatures and all that shit, but mostly because it fucks my mind up. It just like continuously shocks me. And some people might be like, but I feel uncomfortable. Okay, well then, I'm sorry.
Just go get your lube, shine up that asshole, and get.
I don't know where David's going with this. I don't consent to what he's saying right now. I don't know. I like. This is the whole conversation I had to have with Andrew. He couldn't get through Future Diary either, and I was like, "Come on, man, just fucking." I don't know what's wrong with me. It's just how my brain works. I guess I like seeing traumatic shit in fiction. It's the first sign of traumatic shit in real life. I break down, but fiction, man, give it to me.
You ran to the first flashbang, you fucking pussy.
You didn't even come, bitch. I asked you like 7 times. You want to come to this fucking protest with me, and your ass didn't. Okay. Yeah. I have the voice memos to prove it. Don't even fucking try me.
Red exposes David on Twitter.
Someone was scared of losing their job.
Bitch, I'm trying to move out of this shithole city.
Oh my god. Final thoughts.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about trauma right now in this entire fucking chapter. And it's okay to have to grow past that, but we don't really want to see you devolve to the state the power is right now. So if you ever need to talk to anybody, there's professionals out there, especially right now in the state we're in, with the world literally about to fucking erupt with chaos. Like, it's okay to be scared right now. It's okay to be traumatized by what's going on. Go seek a professional. Reach out to one of us on Twitter. We'll talk to you. We'll try and help you, even in the comments of this video. We care about you.
For the Odd Parents.
It's okay to feel sad sometimes.
I didn't know what you were going to play from Fairly Odd Parents because that show's surprisingly fucking deep sometimes.
Did you hear the clip?
Yeah, I did. Prepared for Butch
seriously.
Hartman to strike a sound.
David Wright, oh yeah, Butch Hartman comes in like I don't know if this
Y'all
channel
motherfuckers.
is I don't know if this channel is Christian enough for my content. Jesus, smite them.
Smite them in their talk of hentai.
Shmentai.
Oh yes,
That's how we got around the algorithm. You gotta say Shmentai, you gotta say Heineken Flu, and you gotta say Schmo Schmalish Marion Schmashist Schmate.
You just tried way too hard at the end, man.
Oh yeah, did I?
Anyway, like, what are your predictions for the next chapter now? We got all the heavy shit for this video out of the way.
I'm still insulted that you said I tried too hard. Fuck you.
Present it, Red.
So I guess okay. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that the Makima trip won't happen because that was set up for a long time. So I have a feeling that I can see Makima doing some sort of shit that makes Denji come. Like either like well, hold on.
Denji, come save me.
Yeah, maybe. I almost feel like she's gonna do some sort of like, don't worry, Denji, I'll Aki can handle power, or I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll get fucking Kishim. What's his name? Top of the verse. Yeah, or I don't know. Like, but it'd be more conniving than that. What could it be?
I found Rize.
Oh, fuck! That's how you do it. You fucking entice him with the waifu that he actually wants to smash, and not the waifu that's like actually his little sister in his head.
Oof.
Denji, I noticed that I'm having trouble enticing you with my sweet, sweet poon. So how about this one over here?
Okay, drops dick to floor. Let's go.
She's like, shit. He's becoming less monkey-brained, and he's thinking more with his brain and not his dick. That is a problem. He's learning. No.
Yeah, like, oh, shit.
Final thoughts for you before I peace.
I can actually, like, I can see her using Rize or possibly Quan Chi to be like, yeah, I got them right here. Want to come save them?
Yeah, but I don't think she's gonna reveal herself to be evil. It'd be some sort of shit like, oh, I don't know. I feel like the reason one makes more sense.
I can picture her revealing herself and just be like, the only way to save them is to defeat me, and that's the end game.
Wow, James Bond style. Like, I have you, Mr. Bond. I have your woman in a slowly descending fucking spiral platform descending into piranhas.
That sounds like an actual Bond plot.
Well, wait a minute. I need to see if I can find it. The Austin Powers, like, put them in the slowly rotating, easily escapable death trap. Austin Powers, easily escapable. Hold on. Give it to me. Come on.
How was your day?
Where is it?
walking in
Where is
Paris,
it?
I'm like,
Where is it?
No, Scott, I have an even better idea. I'm going to place him in an easily escapable situation involving an overly elaborate and exotic death.
why don't you just shoot him now? I mean, I'll go get a gun. We'll shoot him
Oh.
together. It'll be fun. Bang! Damn. Done.
One more peep out of you, and you are grounded, mister, and I am...
That movie's so good.
It really is.
Bro, I am 100% down for Rize becoming a cheesy Bond villain. Na, na, na. Anyone with art skill, give me Rize doing the Dr. Evil pinky to the bottom corner of the lip.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.
It's gone on too long.
Not really. How long was that video?
I'm still recording. I was waiting for you to say peace.
I said peace.
David, you better say some more shit, because I ain't editing.
You
Tap dance. Tap dance. Entertain.
Peace.